Welcome to CivilNet. Today I'm joined by political analyst Tigran Grigoryan to discuss the events of last night and this morning on the border areas of Armenia. So, Tigran, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We saw these disturbing news coming out of the border areas of Armenia. The Armenian Defense Ministry has confirmed that 3 servicemen have died and that the battles continued for some hours. Now Russian-mediated ceasefire is being enforced. I'm wondering, why do you think Azerbaijan is continuing to take these aggressive actions even after the 2020 war, even after big land handovers made by the Armenian side in multiple sections of the border areas of Armenia proper?
I think these actions are part of Azerbaijan's coercive diplomacy. Azerbaijan sees Armenia's post-war weakness and tries to use this weakness to achieve maximum concessions. And in this process, Azerbaijan is first of all interested in somehow finalizing the Karabakh situation, signing some sort of peace deal, as they call it. In fact, it is a capitulation agreement, we can say, and it is also used to promote this process of delimitation and demarcation, which is also supported by Russia. So yeah, Azerbaijan uses these provocations on the border to force Armenia into signing some sort of paper agreement which will promote its maximalist demands.
And as for the Armenian side, how do you perceive the response of the Armenian government? Do you think that it may buckle under the weight and give in to, as you say, Azerbaijan's goal of getting this agreement signed?
Well, the pressure is really high, and the problem is that the Russian side is also interested in this delimitation and demarcation process. I don't know what are Russian intentions in terms of the so-called peace deal. I don't think Russia is interested in that. But yes, there is a huge pressure on the Armenian government, but I think that it is unacceptable to get involved in any sort of process at this moment, because it can become a very dangerous precedent when Armenia is forced into different processes by using just mere force, military power.
And you mentioned Russia. Armenia is part of the Russian-led Collective Security Treaty Organization. And in October 2020, in the midst of the 44-day war, President Putin said that Armenia is a member of the CSTO and there are specific commitments the CSTO has towards Armenia, but that the fighting during the 2020 war was not taking place in Armenia, it was taking place in the Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh. But now there is fighting going on within the sovereign territory of Armenia. So I'm wondering, why is Russia and the CSTO not acting in the way that I think that a lot of people were expecting them to?
First of all, we should understand that the CSTO is not your normal military alliance. It's a quasi-organization which is used by Moscow to exert influence in the post-Soviet area. And for the member states, it's an additional framework of relationship with Russia. So in that sense, we shouldn't expect too much from this organization. Secondly, Russia's wider goal in the region after the Autumn War is to achieve the integration of Azerbaijan into its integration processes like the Eurasian Economic Union and probably even the CSTO. So now Russia is engaged in some sort of policy towards Azerbaijan which tries to, tries to persuade Azerbaijan to get involved in these processes. Now Russia uses carrots. Probably there will be a time when the sticks will come, but now it's carrots time. And this situation should be seen in that wider framework. Russia cannot act militarily against Azerbaijan. We remember that The former head of the CSTO, Barduja, made a statement months ago which basically said that the CSTO mechanisms are not used against countries, against the seized countries. So Azerbaijan is part of the Commonwealth of independent states, and this mechanism, he was saying, cannot be used against Azerbaijan. And the view from Moscow is that all these processes, all these provocations, I don't know, border skirmishes are small-scale incidents which are not that important that Russian, I don't know, military commitments can be used. I think that's overall the Russian position in this situation.
And what about Turkey's role in all of this? We oftentimes focus on Azerbaijan and Russia, but what do you think about Turkey's role in what's going on?
Yeah, Turkey's situation is also quite peculiar because Turkey invested a lot in Azerbaijan's military victory, but after the war, as a result of the Azerbaijani military victory, Turkey didn't get much. If we look at the practical side of the situation, Russia is the side which has benefited the most, like besides Azerbaijan. And Turkey must be very anxious about Russia's intentions to engage Azerbaijan into its integration processes. So Turkey might be also interested in these provocations to stop possible integration processes between Moscow and Baku.
And what do you think about international pressures? Some have said that greater international pressure on Azerbaijan may be beneficial to Armenia, but are we really seeing that pressure that could make Azerbaijan stop these aggressive actions, in your opinion?
I don't think that that international pressure will resolve this issue. We should understand that the long-term solution to this problem is the restoration of military capabilities of the Armenian armed forces. Of course, the international pressure could be higher. We can agree on that. But I don't think that even if a UN Security Council statement or a resolution is adopted, the situation on the ground will change drastically. I don't think that will happen. So Armenia, first of all, needs to be capable of defending its borders. If it's not capable to do that, no third-party organization will do that either.
And so you've mentioned what we should do, but I'm also curious what you think about what Armenia shouldn't do in these circumstances.
First of all, I think Armenia must resist all the pressure and not get involved in any process under the threat of violence, under the pressure, under the military pressure. This, as I've already mentioned, can become a very dangerous precedent. And I think in this post-war crisis situation, when Armenia is weak militarily and politically, it's really dangerous to get involved in any process, because Armenia could be pressurized in that process as well. We can talk about the limitation and demarcation processes. I'm not sure that Armenia will be able to get the result which it wants in this process.
And in terms of the Aliyev government in Azerbaijan, we're seeing a very different Aliyev from years past. He seems to have really grown an appetite. I'm wondering if you think that what his intentions are, and if there is a chance that that could ultimately backfire on him.
I think Aliyev sort of understands the trends in the global system, the transition from unipolarity to multipolarity, the decline of the liberal order and international norms, the enlarged enhanced role of regional powers and so on. So he sees this window of opportunity to achieve certain goals in this context. He tries to close the Karabakh chapter once and forever. He tries to resolve all the issues with Armenia, resolve meaning getting maximum concessions. And I think it might be a very unwise policy in the long term, because this situation will not last forever. Armenia won't be weak like for years to come. Armenia will restore its capabilities, and Azerbaijan is losing this opportunity, real opportunity, to get engaged in more constructive processes. And when they lose this opportunity, Armenia will come stronger, and it will be hard to deal with Armenia.
And do you think that's why they're trying to move so fast? They're trying to get this, these actions done in a short time span?
Yes, absolutely. They are seeing this post-war crisis situation in Armenia. They are very afraid of revanchist sentiments in Armenia and revanchist plans, probably. They are very worried. We've seen that Aliyev reacted very anxiously even when the European Union decided to assist Armenia financially. The 2.6 billion investment package. He was like saying, why are you assisting Armenia? We are the side that had losses during the war and so on.
Mm-hmm. He said it was unfair, if I remember correctly. And finally, I want to ask two questions. The first is in terms of Nagorno-Karabakh, however. There were reports of some violence over the last few months in Karabakh, but many are saying that due to the Russian peacekeeping mission there, it hasn't been the way it's been previously. But how do you see the situation developing in Nagorno-Karabakh? We know that the Russian peacekeeping mission has a 5-year mandate, which in a couple of months will be 4 years. So how do you think the situation is being perceived in Artsakh?
Yeah, there is this sense of instability, an atmosphere of instability in Artsakh. People are not aware what's coming next. People are not confident in the future, and this is a real problem if we want to have stable population in Nagorno-Karabakh. And in terms of Russian presence in Artsakh, I don't think that Russia plans to leave the region in 4 years. If we look at the infrastructure projects they are implementing, I mean military infrastructure projects, if we see the expenditures which are being made on their military, their peacekeeping missions, and so on, we see that Russia has no such intention. In 4 years, if Azerbaijan tries to block, it tries to make Russia leave Nagorno-Karabakh, I think Russia will use its leverage, and its leverage is quite big, to stay there. But we, Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh, should have plan B. We cannot be sure that all of this will happen. We can be ready for some black swans happening, for some emergency situations. So the Armenian government structures, the foreign ministry, the Ministry of Defense should be already elaborating on plan B situation in which might come in 4 years' time.
And finally, we heard the news from the defense ministries of both Armenia and Azerbaijan that a Russian brokered ceasefire has been implemented. But do you think that will likely hold? Do you think we'll see more instances like what we saw last night and this morning? Yeah,
I think these provocations will continue until some process is not initiated. Delimitation, demarcation, I don't know, peace deal they are talking about. But Armenia should understand that the problem, the root issue, the root of this problem is not the lack of delimitation or demarcation, it's Armenia's weakness. If we are able to overcome this weakness and restore our capabilities, the situation will become more stable.
Well, Mr. Grigoryan, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.